Hey, what's up, guys? It's CJ. I'm here with Mike and Richard, and we're bringing you another episode of Superhero Sundays. We're going to get into WandaVision, and we're going to get into a fun topic of anti-heroes. But before we do that, don't forget to like and subscribe, because any and all support is greatly appreciated, and it helps us impact the community. So, with all that being said, roll the intro. So WandaVision, we're up to episode 6 now. We've been following this series, episode by episode. And episode 6 was another cliffhanger. But I got to give the disclaimer up front. Spoiler alerts. We will go over some details of the episodes. If you haven't seen it yet, cut the episode off, watch it first, and then come back in and join us. But you know what? I want to start off with the intro, because I was trying to figure out what it reminds me of. I was thinking of like Malcolm in the Middle. I don't know. I was trying to think of like what show is that? You guys think it's Malcolm in the Middle?
It was definitely Malcolm in the Middle. It had the whole feeling of kind of like the parents and the kids kind of like fighting, and then also that block of lettering right after like a short clip of them fighting, and then the music in the background is similar to like a metal or rock and roll type of thing. It was definitely Malcolm in the Middle, and especially right after it starts, you see the twin boys talking to the camera. That's like perfect Malcolm in the Middle.
It's almost as if they were doing Malcolm in the Middle. They just renamed everyone. I couldn't think of another show of that kind of theme to really compare it to, and Malcolm in the Middle was the only thing I could think of.
Okay, so because we're up to the 90s now, right? Is that the decade we're in for the show?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I would say 90s.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, had that punk rock music, and like they're talking to the camera. Had that style of Malcolm in the Middle. But yeah, that's the only show I can think of. And even the words of the song kind of hinted at what's going on within the show, within that reality bubble of talking about distorted days and like how things are weird and you never know who to expect to come by and show up. So I kind of noticed that too.
I think actually the lyrics in every episode for the theme song or for the opening credits or whatever always have some type of relation to the upcoming episode. At least that's what I felt.
Yeah, I noticed that too. And even in this show, there's another commercial that's kind of weird. We'll get into that later on, but everything seems to kind of focus in on what's going on in that reality bubble. And even in the last episode with which you thought was kind of like a step-by-step theme, it had the song was like part of the show, saying how things are different, how we don't know what's going on, how it's not reality. So definitely the lyrics to the intros are talking about like they're relational to the actual episode. But also in the beginning of the show, you kind of see that Wanda can't control Vision because they're supposed to go trick-or-treating or something like that. Mm-hmm. And she's trying to control everything of Vision. Like he said, I didn't have any other costume or any other clothes in my closet. So she's like trying to control everything for him, but she can't control him because he said, no, I'm not going to go trick-or-treating with you guys. I'm actually going to go the neighborhood watch, which he actually didn't do. What do you guys think about that?
One of the things that was really interesting about that interaction is the fact that when he said that, you can see Wanda's face like, what?
Yeah, she was shocked. Yeah,
like you're going off script. Like, what? You're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to do that. And he's continuing like, no. I think when she brought him back to life, she gave him his own like consciousness where she just believed that he would just go along with it because he loves her and wants to be in that same situation as she is. But with him, I don't think it's as simple as that. I mean, we'll talk about it later on, but he is somebody that, to his core, a worthy hero. I mean, you saw it in Age of Ultron. He actually lifted the hammer. One of the things that show that he's like legitimately, to his core, a hero. And I think that's what's going to really play into effect on how he reacts to things around, and when he notices things are not what they should be, that he'll start poking around trying to figure out, trying to help people. So
yeah, Yeah, it was funny, in that scene, Pietro too. He's like trying to figure out his costume. He's like, "What are you, a booger or something like that?" So yeah, like Richard said in the last episode, that the casting of him, he's so funny. What's his name again? That the actor?
Evan Peters.
Evan Peters. Yeah, he's funny, but yeah, that whole kind of that morning scene was everything was kind of a little awkward. Like even Vision was like, "You never told me even that much about your brother." How much he's good with kids, but he's like a man child basically.
You know what I loved about that whole, well, at least the costumes and everything, was that with Wanda and Vision, they actually dressed up as their comic book look.
Yeah.
Because I when I first saw that, I'm like, wait a minute, I've seen this before.
Yeah,
So
I think
I thought that was funny.
I think from some of the interviews, I think she said she wanted that costume to look like the accurate version of the comic version of her of the Scarlet Witch. That's the name, right, Mike?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You actually look, the son, I think it's Billy. He actually wears that bandana and that outfit for his costume. That's actually his comic book costume.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. Wow. That's pretty cool.
The only one that didn't have his comic book costume was Tommy the Speed. It was kind of similar. I mean, once him and Pietro kind of did their thing and they're kind of matching. It was just funny because they're matching because they're both speeders. And then, Billy was over there with his headband and kind of that, I guess, red thing that he had, kind of matching his mother.
But yeah, it was cool to see them have their costumes on, and then Vision goes off, like he said he's going to go to the night watch or the neighborhood watch, but he actually doesn't. He actually goes off to go, I guess, discover what's going on and what's going on on the outside of that neighborhood and things going on in that area. And then you start seeing Captain Rambeau. She confronts Hayward, the guy over Sword, about what happened in the last episode, about how they attacked Wanda and the family, and how she said that you kind of, threw us under the bus, having that missile. And he kind of said some inappropriate things. Like, he was being a jerk to her. He was like, it's kind of good that maybe it was good that you weren't here when your mother died, because you don't have the guts to, do what it takes. Like Richard said, to actually, make the decisions that a boss does for this kind of situation. What do you guys think about that interaction with them? I thought he was a jerk.
I think it just builds up to the whole thing as him as director. If you remember from the first episode, I believe, where it's her and him when she first got to the facility. He said that he was appointed, he's no longer interim director, he is appointed director, and he goes, she said, "You're the best qualified," and then he goes, "Well, I was the only one," and she goes, "Well, I wasn't going to say that."
That's true.
So it's not like he was somebody that was fully capable of doing this job, he was just the only person available for it. And I think it's really showing off how he's not a good person at all. And I really think that he might have some kind of handle in the situation, as in he's poking the bear for a specific reason.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that too. Like, I guess you say he might have a grudge or some kind of chip on his shoulder about, what's been going on with Sword and him being a leader, because he says something like, you don't know how hard it was, while you guys were kind of blipped. He kind of hinted at that. He's like, you don't know how hard it was to keep the lights on. How to be a leader of this organization, you don't know what it takes, or you don't know how hard it was for me to do that. So maybe he does have like a chip on his shoulder, some kind of grudge against her because she was gone, and her mother, making him charge of everything. I don't know, yeah, but you think he's doing stuff on purpose?
Well,
for a reason?
Obviously, he's being really aggressive towards the situation for a specific reason, trying to entice Wanda to do things, kind of like really pushing the boundaries back on her to seeing how far she's actually going to take it. I think it's more like, especially in the last episode when he labeled her a terrorist, and all this stuff, that he's trying to make her seem like one.
Yeah.
By making her do all these things, and as we'll talk about later, how she expands on her world and just makes everybody seem like clowns. Sorry.
Make them seem like clowns. Yeah. I don't know, man. I wonder what other role he's going to play in the future, like you said, with this show. But yeah, in that scene, he was just a total jerk. So yeah, Hayward, I guess he's also kind of hiding things from everybody. Like he wasn't letting Darcy know about how he's kind of following Vision and following Wanda. Like he has like this, I don't know, some kind of camera or something that knows like where they're at all points.
He's able to somehow see inside the barrier, but they didn't specify how he's doing that or what he's using to get that information. Yeah,
and so and that's how Darcy noticed that Vision was far off, and they also started noticing that some of the people that are on the outskirts of the town, they're like not moving, like just like totally glitching out. Like when Vision was wandering around, he kind of saw some people hanging up stuff, and they're like, keep you doing the same repetitive moves, and he just noticed that things are just weird, and like they're just like, even he saw the lady started crying, you know, like she's stuck and she can't move. But yeah, all the people on the outside that's kind of not at the center of the town, they're basically like numb or zombies, kind of, I guess you can say.
Specifically, a little bit before that, where they showed that lady that you said was trying to hang up something and she was crying. It goes back to the whole point in the other episode where I forget the guy's name, Norm or something like that. The guy that works with Vision, when he, he touched him and made him kind of like come out of the trance, and he said that it hurts, all this stuff. I think that's what it's showing, that she is in pain somehow and trapped, and there's nothing she can do, and all you can see is a tear roll down her face. Kind of like where in the first episode where the husband and the wife was just, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. Like you can tell that she was distressed while she was saying that, seeing her husband go through that. And I think it's basically the same thing. And it's making you really get attached and feel for the people in the town. And that's when you start really thinking like, wow, like she's really doing this. She's really hurting people.
Yeah, like you said in that first episode, that lady wanted to break character, but she couldn't. Like she wanted to ask for help, but she was, like I said, in that trance where she couldn't really break out of it, but she was trying to do all her best to get help for her husband.
You know what that whole scene kind of reminded me of, and I know this is kind of like off topic, but it really reminded me of that movie Get Out, where they they make the people fall into a trance and do some type of brain transplant or something, but their subconscious is still in there, and that's what it felt like. That's what first came to my mind when I saw that.
You're right. I didn't even think about that. I remember in Get Out when that one black guy that was in a trance, but then someone took a picture of him and it like flashed in his eyes and he broke out of that trance and he started screaming, like he was like, help me, and then they had to take him away and they brought him back and he was back in a trance. So yeah, everybody in this town is basically in a trance. And you kind of saw that too when Wanda and the kids are trick-or-treating and they actually run into Herb, and Herb is like, saying that he's on the neighborhood watch or whatever, and that Vision is not on the neighborhood watch. But he says something like, do you want something to change, Wanda? Like, do you want me to do something about that? Like, so I'm wondering, does Herb know this is a show too? Or like, what do you guys think about that? Because he seemed like he was like trying to hint at her, like, do you want me to do anything about this? Or something's off script. Do you want me to change that?
I did. I noticed a couple of things. I don't know if it's because he was already glitching in the last episode that he it's wearing off on him type of thing. But one of the things that I did notice, in that scene is where he was saying that he was getting reports of all the candy's gone, but it's really Pietro running around with the kids.
Mhm.
And if you really actually look at it, there's a character every time they show Wanda. There's something standing behind her, staring at her.
Oh wow, creepy.
Watch it again. You'll see it. It's in the her right hand shoulder. Whether it's a decoration or it's an actual person in a mask, there's somebody just staring at her the whole time.
Did you notice that, Rich?
Nope.
I did not notice
There
that.
is somebody standing there. And like I said, I don't know if it's a decoration that somebody has or somebody in a mask just mad dogging Wanda, just staring at
Did you
her.
notice it in other episodes, or this is the first time
No,
you?
and this is the first time I saw it, and I don't know if it's decoration, but something about it just caught my eye, and I couldn't stop staring at him. And the whole time, she was talking to her, and Pietro and the kids were running around everywhere. The person was just staring at her, like not moving an inch, just staring at her.
What did the person, or what did it look like? Was it someone in a costume? Or
Yeah,
just
it was the person in a costume or decoration, like I said, wearing black with a mask with a large nose. And it would just like a death stare at her from behind.
Wow.
And for me, I couldn't stop staring at it. Like it took over the whole scene.
I gotta check that out again, man. Now I gotta watch it tonight because that's yeah, I did not notice that.
That's creepy.
That's really creepy. But again, that's what this whole episode is about. Like I said, if the villain is Mephisto, then of course there's gonna be some kind of horror theme things going on in the background, or something's gonna happen in the future that's gonna be like horror themed to it. So I don't know. And speaking of horror, like at one point Pietro he changed into his dead version of himself. And even as they're walking around town, trick-or-treating, he started talking to Wanda, and he's like even said that he's not the same person that she knows. Like he knows that he looks different.
Mhm.
He knows that he's not the Pietro that we're used to. Did you guys notice that also?
Yeah, he said actually a lot of things, and I have my own theory about this Pietro. Like one of the things that he said is he yelled at the kids when they were first getting their candy and stuff. Go wreak hell, you hellspawn, or something like that. And why would he say that? Why would he say hellspawn when people are thinking about Mephisto being the villain, as basically the Marvel's devil, and the kids and stuff like that? Why would he say that to them? Like, I guess it's Halloween, but specifically that line, why? But yeah, he says things to Wanda where it's like, she asked them, where's your accent? And he goes, well, where's yours? And he'll say things like, so what'd you do with all the kids?
Yeah, so it's like he knows these things that for someone who just entered into this bubble, like they should know what all the stuff that happened in the past, or the things that happened in earlier episodes. So it's just weird. So like you said, it might not be who we think he is. It might be somebody that's portraying him. I don't know, but I noticed, like you said, certain things that he was saying to her, and it was kind of like awkward. Like she can't really like show her affection towards him because she knows he's not really him, or she's not used to that person of Pietro.
Yeah, another thing that he said, he was like asking her about, when did you start having these powers, like this magnitude of powers? And she goes, you're not like weirded out about it? And he goes, no, I'm actually impressed. Like,
yeah,
like it's almost like he's like the person that we're all thinking he is, like Mephisto or somebody, where he's like telling her like, oh no, actually I'm impressed. What'd you do with all these kids? You had them all sleep somewhere? That's
right.
I'm not weirded out about that. Sure, do what you gotta do. Like, it just, everything he was saying was just either he's trying to gather information for somebody, or he's the one that's behind it, where he's like egging her on, like, no, you know what? do what you got to do, like whatever. And
Yeah.
you're like,
Something's up. Yeah. And even some of the memories they talked about, like the memory of him when they were kids doing Halloween, she was like, I don't remember things being that way. And he's like, oh, maybe you're, what do you say? Maybe
Blocked it
you're
out from a trauma or something like that.
Yeah. So it's like I really think he's not the real Pietro, and something's up, man. I don't know what they're going to write into it, but yeah, I can't wait to see what they do with him.
Do you think maybe Pietro might be the connection for Hayward?
yeah, that's another thing that Hayward did say, that he might have a agent that's inside, and people thought that he might be it, but that's why he's asking all those questions, like gathering intel. But how would he have all those powers? Like nobody else from Sword that infiltrated has had powers.
Yeah.
But then again, why is he asking all these questions? Like, he's gathering intel, but it just doesn't make any sense. And I think it's just one of those things where just gives you more questions than answers, and it just makes you want to watch the next episode.
Man, speaking of questions, I have a question about the commercial, because this is kind of in the middle of the episode. I don't even know what to connect the commercial to. It was about what did it say, Yo Magic or something like that.
Yeah, Yo Magic, the yogurt or whatever to eat.
Yeah.
And that commercial was dark, man. It kind of like took a dark turn. I was like,
totally did.
The poor little kid died. I'm like, what the heck? But so what do you think that it's?
I don't want that.
Right, I don't want that snack. So what do you think it's pointing to or hinting at? You guys have any ideas about that?
I honestly think it's a foreshadowing and telling a story that kind of everybody didn't really think about. I think these people are dying. These people in this world. If you really think about the logistics of everything, there's thousands of people in the city. Nobody knows it exists. Where it's getting all its food.
That's true. Yeah.
Are they even eating?
Yeah, exactly. You saw this character in this commercial trying to open up that thing to eat, and it couldn't, and it ended up dying of starvation. And it's saying Yo Magic, feed whatever. I think that it's either something like that, where it's like these people are dying from either starvation or lack of nutrients, and the only thing keeping them alive is her magic.
Ooh, yeah. So maybe that's like commercial kind of targeting Wanda, right? Like, hint,
All the
hint.
commercials target.
Yo Magic is killing these people.
Yeah.
That's true. Or could it be because it says Yo Magic is the snack for survivors? So do you think it could be the only people who are going to survive in this bubble are people who have magic powers? Wanda, the witch, Agnes, the witch, and I want to say I think Herb is somebody that we don't know, because him and Agnes, they were trying to come after Captain Rambeau. They were trying to talk about her behind her back, and they're the only ones that noticed that Captain Rambeau should not be here. And Herb acts weird, but at the same time, I don't know. Like I said, he could be somebody that has powers like Agnes does. But even Agnes, though, she was saying like she needs help too, but she's doing okay. What do you think, Mike?
I just thought of something else. What if it means that somebody's feeding off of her magic?
Yeah. And draining her?
Yep.
Yeah. Yo Magic.
Mm-hmm.
And so someone who wants to survive is taking her powers?
Yep.
Wow. I didn't think about that.
I didn't think about that just till now.
Yeah, that's a good point. I kind of like that. But man, I wonder, like, so all these commercials, every single one has some kind of meaning to it. This was the one that's kind of stumped me. I didn't know. The last one stumped Richard. You can get the Lagos commercial. So yeah, that commercial, it stumped me. I didn't know, but yeah, there's so many things that it can implicate. I don't know what it actually means, but like I said, I'm excited to see what it hints at maybe in the other episodes. But speaking of hinting of stuff, man, Captain Rambeau, she said, she texted her connection, And like I said, we think it's Reed Richards. I'm going to say it's Reed Richards, man, because, it just fits perfectly. But she never said his name, but it fits perfectly. What do you think, Mike?
There's something else that happened in this episode that you guys probably didn't even notice. That
snap!
Again, to it possibly being Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four bringing into the MCU, is that you remember the scene where it's Wanda and Pietro walking away from the movie theater?
Okay.
There's 2 movies that were playing in that movie theater.
Oh, I didn't have it. That's crazy. What was it?
One is Parent Trap, which is funny because it's Parent Trap, the movie. The other movie was The Incredibles. The Incredibles is basically a play off the Fantastic Four, the first family.
Nice. I did not notice that at all. Wow.
It was The
That
Incredibles.
makes a lot of sense. I never made that connection.
It's the first family, Mr. Incredible, Mr. Fantastic. The main character is Mr. Incredible, Mr. Fantastic. He has a wife, also a superhero, has children, blah, blah, blah. It's basically the Fantastic Four. And it's a great movie, by the way. It's the best Fantastic Four movie out.
Yeah, that's so bad. I like the one with...
wait, which Fantastic Four? The one with Jessica Alba or...
All of them. The Incredibles is an amazing movie.
Oh, you're talking about Incredibles, okay.
Yeah, The Incredibles. And even at the end of The Incredibles, like even if you say, that's just coincidence about Mr. Incredible and Mr. Head, the villain at the end when the first family, them, fight is the mole people. And actually the first villain that the Fantastic Four fought were the mole people.
Wow.
Hey, isn't Frozone also voiced by Samuel L. Jackson?
Yeah.
Yep. They're all connected, man.
So,
but
it all points to Reed Richards and Fantastic Four, but who knows? We thought we were gonna get the glimpse of whoever it was at the end of the episode, but and they stopped it because of everything else that happened. But it better happen in the next episode.
Man, I have to watch this episode again because I did not see stuff in the background. I didn't think to look for that stuff, and wow, now I'm gonna look for that and see what movies are playing.
It's crazy. Like you have to watch these episodes like 2 or 3 times, man. But the thing is, me and you, Cal, we don't have Mike's knowledge, man. We don't have his education on what to exactly look for.
Exactly, man. Mike is like I say, he's the MCU writer, so he knows what's going on. He gives us the scoop. But dang, I gotta watch it again.
Mike,
because that's pretty dope. Mike's Coming Universe. I mean, and talking about stuff in the background, man. The kids, where were the kids this whole time? Now there's kids running around everywhere. They're trick-or-treating. All of a sudden they come out of the woodworks, like, and even Pietro asked, like, where were you hiding these kids? So it's like, where were they the whole time? I mean, were they just in the house and then just Wanda? Yeah, like they're frozen in the house, and then because Wanda wants trick-or-treating and that whole family vibe, all of a sudden the kids get activated and now they're able to come out the house and act like everything's normal. That's weird too, that I noticed that the kids came back. And we've been talking about that too, like there hasn't been any kids anywhere. The pools are empty.
Yeah, for the children, but where are they?
Yeah.
Even with that lady, where's that lady been? She disappeared too after the first episode.
Who knows? Maybe they're dying off. I have no idea.
Gosh, man. It's so crazy.
Maybe she's continuously judging people and you don't see it.
Maybe she's Mephisto.
Whoever. She knows.
Nah, she wouldn't.
Whatever.
She's a super Karen, is what it is.
Super Karen. Man, this is like getting towards the end of the episode here, though. But speaking of super Karens and super people, Vision. So the kids are back. Back. People are glitching out. And he's noticing this. He starts to seeing, what's really going on and how people are in pain. And, he runs into Agnes at the end, towards the end, and she's like stopped on the side of the road, glitching out, can't move, can't focus, and he has an interaction with her. Richie, what do you think of that interaction with Vision and Agnes?
Yeah, that one actually caught me by surprise because I thought this whole time that Agnes was kind of like I know she's part of it, and I know that she feels that it's like it's a show, but to actually like have her like she looked like Norm, right? Like she was in a trance. Now whether or not she was acting like she was in a trance or she actually was in a trance, but that actually caught me by surprise because I thought this whole time like she was actually part of the whole thing, not under it or not, you know what I mean? Like not under the spell of it.
Yeah, under the control. Yeah, she like she was like in like a zombie kind of mode, but then when Vision woke her up, he's like, or she told Vision, she recognized him. She's like, "You're an Avenger," and he was like, "Yeah, I'm Vision, but what's an Avenger?"
What's an Avenger? Yeah.
Yeah. And so he didn't even know his past. He didn't even know that he was a hero, part of the Avengers. What do you think, Mike, of that interaction?
Okay, so Agnes, she made it out further than anybody. That should already tell you that she is acting. One of the things that we kind of talked about how Taylor Hardware or Hayward, or whatever his name is, he was tracking everybody, right? He not only did he have a track when Darcy hacked in and noticed that he was tracking not just Vision and Wanda, but also everybody in the hex, as they call it. And then when it said that it was reestablishing connection or relocating asset, which is Vision, and it showed him, at the edge. Right before it showed him at the edge, it didn't show another blip on there.
Wow, I didn't notice that.
The only blip was him, but Agnes was there. So
wow.
One or two things going on. Either one, she is like, again, remember they couldn't find a driver's license of her. I just had the picture. Maybe they can't find any kind of connection to her, or they can't see her readings, her if she's alive or whatnot, or she's blocking it somehow. And we talked about how everybody was frozen, right? Completely frozen. When you got closer to the wall, they were completely frozen. Not the lady that was doing the whole thing, but everybody outside of her was completely frozen, like stiff.
Yeah.
Agnes, when Vision first got there, she was still kind of moving. You notice it. She was actually moving. And then when he touched her, that's when she woke up and she started saying all those things like, "You're an adventure," and like, "Am I dead? No, why? Why would you say that? Because you are,
Because you are, yeah.
That kind of thing." And I think it's Agnes was acting the whole time and really doing this to kind of probe at Vision to get him to understand and feel that something's not right. Because she probably wants him off the board because he's gonna be too much of wrench in the whole thing where he's gonna make things not go the way that's supposed to go because he's trying to figure things out. He's trying to do this. He's too much of a good at heart. So she wants to get him off the board. What better way than to make him think so much that he goes outside?
Yeah.
And
wow.
Even when he does it, whatever he does and makes her go back to, being part of the hex, how is she able to drive off?
Exactly. I was thinking about that too.
How is she able to just drive off? Everybody else gets stuck because they're getting too close to the edge and she doesn't want them to go anywhere. She was able to not only drive off, but drive closer and drive off. Not back up. She drove closer and drove off.
So she's acting, man. And then could this point to the commercial where, talking about people who want magic to survive? What if she's there to access Wanda? Because remember, she we think she killed the dog, but she was asking Wanda, like, you can bring people back to life? You can do this? Like, she's trying to get like something from Wanda. So maybe she's there to get something from her, to get power from her. or I don't know if she wants to bring somebody back to life. I don't know, but like you said, she wants to kick Vision out and have Wanda maybe power to herself or something. I don't know. That's weird. Like you said, she's acting.
Or maybe she can't survive outside of this world, the world that Wanda created. So in order for her to expand it, she needed something to happen for Wanda to expand the world, to live further out. Maybe this is all just her way to, her and Mephisto or whoever it is behind it, wants to get further off in the world but can only exist within the hex. What better way to make it larger than make her husband go outside of it to protect him?
Things are starting to click a little bit. And even Wanda says she doesn't know how this started. So it's like, could it be Agnes, the witch, and Mephisto making her do this? Without her consciously knowing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. That's like so many scenarios you can put together and like try to figure it out. But again, cliffhanger, we don't know what happened, what was going on. But Mike mentioned that Vision he's good at heart, and it shows that because he wants to help the people there. He still has that superhero within him where he wants to help people who are hurting. And he starts, going out of that bubble. He tries to pull himself through there. And as he's doing that, he starts falling apart. But he yells at, or he's kind of, yells or screams at Sword saying, the people need help. They need help. What do you think about that scene, Richard? Like I thought Vision was going to die.
Yeah, no, it was very interesting to see because as he's trying to move forward, the hex is pulling him back, and it's pulling him back piece by piece. And he's trying to get the help from Sword.
Even though Wanda can't control him, but somehow like that hex is like attached to him, like he can't leave that area. But then I don't know if anybody else can leave. If the other people, they can't leave either because once they get closer, they stop.
He can't leave that area because he's dead. So isn't he like create like his form being created through Wanda? I mean, that's what we're all believing, right? So physically he can't leave, which is why he was being sucked back into the hex.
What do you think, Mike? That's like, I don't know. It's crazy, man.
It was a very dark episode, and even Pietro, which is, again, how would he know that? He says, it's not like your husband can die a second time.
Oh, yeah.
That was so inappropriate, bro. Like, come on, man.
Like, a brother's telling his sister, not like your husband can die a second time. Actually, you're completely wrong. This is going to be the third time you're going to die.
Right. Wait, what's...
The first time was Wanda killed them, and then Thanos used the time stone to bring him back to life, and then killed him by smashing in his head. And now you see him dying for a third time. Poor Vision, and poor audience that we have to watch him die another time.
He's the MCU Kenny.
Yeah, he's constantly dying, and I don't like it.
You bastard!
Yeah, it was very dark the way they had it do it. Pulling him part by part, almost like he was in parts when she found him at Sword's facility. And the fact that you hit it on the head, the thing he yells out is not "I need help." He says, "The people need help."
Yes.
Not talking about helping him. He's talking about the people that need help because he knows that they're in trouble, even though it might be because of his wife.
So crazy. So he has that hero in him at heart, and it's just sad to see him. Is he essentially suffering? He's like trying to figure out what's going on. He doesn't know his past. He doesn't really know who he is, and he just knows that he wants to help people. And he will go through whatever it takes to actually get people help, even if that means dying, even if that means, killing himself. Mm-hmm. But no, Wanda said, nah, bro, this ain't happening. So she decides to use her powers and enhance the hex. And as you see that wall starting to consume other things, everything transforms. Like Richard talked about, every single thing when it goes in there, it transforms into something to fit that reality. So things started turning into was like a circus theme or something.
Sword started turning into a giant circus.
Yeah, right. That's funny. If that's a joke there, if they try to put it in there, Sword is a circus. They don't know what the heck they're doing. It's all a joke to them.
Again,
like
back to episode 1 where Darcy was in that car and asked everybody what their
job
background is, and then she goes, "Look at us, a car full of clowns," because Sword had no idea what was going on because they have somebody from every field possible. So she said, "A car full of clowns," and guess what? Sword goes down, just a bunch of clowns. So,
Mike, you and you writers, man, you guys are so good. You guys, every single thing is crazy.
Something that was said in the first episode and brought it back to this episode. Perfect. Perfect.
That was dope, man. I didn't even think about that.